Hello, it's me, and it's time to start bringing out Braden's fascinating Persistence of Mastery puzzle. I've been actually looking forward to this for a long time, and I'll tell you why. It's really just a shape modification of this, which is the crazy 4x4. This is version 2 that has the circles on the outer periphery like that. But by turning it into this skewed perspective here, where you've got your circles over here as opposed to here, it really lends for a lot of interesting and fascinating variations, potentially. Mostly in perspective as opposed to solve. So first off, there's a reason why I really enjoy the circle puzzles. What I really enjoy about the circle 4x4 puzzle, as it remains stationary with each side, just like so too, you can do a slice move, but this remains stationary here on each side as well. It's just a matter of skewing your perspective, so that remains stationary here. It's really two puzzles in one. So this centerpiece is actually not the center of this 4x4. This is actually its own separate 2x2. So in a way, it's like having a 2x2, and then surrounding it is a 4x4. So you first start off by solving the 2x2, and then you get the 4x4 in, so you get sort of the best of both worlds. But to be honest with you, well, the question is, if this is not the center of a 4x4, the way this is the center, where's the equivalent of this? So where is the center of this side? And that center is actually these guys over here. So no pieces are wasted. These represent the center as this is. But notice this piece and this piece are generally thought of as the same piece, because you never separate them out. No matter what you do, they always follow each other. As you move this down, this is moving with this as well. So in reality, if these two are the same pieces, these two are the same pieces, this is actually not a center like this is, which is the same color. This is two different colors, so it's more like a supercube. So it's more like the fusion of these two puzzles, where this has a very specific orientation, unlike this, just like this is specific orientation. I could swap these two centers here, but it's you'd know the difference. So this is a combination of these two puzzles. So too, this, if we consider it that way, these four pieces here would represent its own 2x2 axis cube. So it's like this here. Now, interestingly enough, the position, the shape of these pieces are not at all like the shape of the 2x2. You have like a different kinds of centers. You've got one piece that's this triangular shape. You've got one which is more this trapezoidal shape. And I guess you sort of have that here, where this is more like a triangular piece, whereas these are more trapezoidal. But I actually see two pieces that are of the same shape and two other pieces that are not. So, but this would represent more or less like a 2x2 axis cube. And then surrounding this would be the 2x2 or the 4x4 axis cube. This looks a little bit more like what you would naturally expect. So these centers look more like these centers, as do these edges. So it's really like two puzzles in one. And that I find to be very entertaining with this. Now, looking at this, you may think, well, the solve experience should be the same, but when you put in a different perspective, that's where the challenge comes from. So it sort of helps guide us as to what our strategies is going to be. So the first step is trying to find out what piece is equivalent to what piece. What are edges, what are centers? So this is a corner here, so these are corners. And I guess the ones that just attach to it, this is an edge piece, and this is an edge piece. So these two are reduced edges. As you can see, this is two colors, one color but a specific shape, one color and a specific shape. Moving over here, these are also edges. So this is an edge, these are edges that line up. These pieces must be these center pieces over here, which represent the centers of this side. So this is not the center of that side. These are the centers of that side. So I just have to bear in mind these are centers. This must be a corner. And this must be a corner. Yeah, so let me see if I can get this straight. Edges, these are centers. This is a corner here, and what are you? You're an edge. So these corners, or component of a corner, I'm sorry, this edge over here, or a component of an edge, looks just like a corner. So this is a corner, this is an edge that reduces with this edge, and this is a corner. So that's going to be fascinating that this is a corner, this is a corner, and this is a corner. So I've got three basic shapes. These are triangles, but they're oriented differently. So I just have to bear that in mind. when I scramble and when I solve it. So basically, if I fuse these two together, I get this puzzle over here. So it's a combination of both of them. Okay. Okay. So let's see about the scramble. Now there's no jumbling in this puzzle. There's nothing fancy like that. There's no fudging or anything like that. Nothing gets locked up and nothing gets blocked. So just like I'm free to scramble this in any which way that I can, any which way that I want. So too, when I scramble this guy, this looks so neat scrambled, same kind of thing. But I'm gonna see if I can't get my perspective okay. So what I'm gonna do is line up centers here. So I'm gonna line this up here. These are slice moves. Slice move over here. And if I do, see, I can easily start moving center moves like so. So center moves here. Now this should be an edge, a corner rather over here, so that should be just fine. See if I can move something over here. Yeah, so it moves really, really well. Very happy with that. Whoop, now why not? Okay, I'll move this here. So I find myself easily moving this. Very nice. So that's going to be a make or break type situation for me, is how well it can move. Because when you're struggling with algorithms, not so much because of the algorithm, but trying to get the moves right and trying to get alignment right, that could be a deal breaker. But this is moving really well, clockwise and counterclockwise. And although there's no jumbling that happens with this puzzle, you can see how chaotic the scramble becomes. It actually moves so smooth that if I don't have it lined up, then I'm going to be a little restricted. So as long as I'm lined up, boy, this puzzle does love to move. Okay, let's see if I can't get this to move here. Yep. Now if I wanted to separate this out, this will stay up here. This is all moving here. So let's see. I want to separate this from this piece here, or both of these pieces. Okay, so I guess I'd have to, no, that's still moving with it. The answer is simple. Okay, that sticker's on pretty well. The question is, how am I going to move these guys away? It will stay. Now, let's line up things over here. And if it doesn't move, it's because it's not lined up quite yet. Oh, did I do it? Yeah, I did it. Okay, I moved it away. So as long as I keep whatever center pieces up on top, that's going to separate itself out. So let's move these away here. I want to move this away, so I'll move this like so. That'll move it away from here. Okay, so I'm moving a little slower just so that I can get used to the motion here a little bit more. As you can see, it's a very smooth moving puzzle. I just did a little bit of lubrication on it. See if we can't move here. I want to do a slice move, so let's line this up. Easily lines up, easily moves, maybe too easily. No, not too easily. Let's go ahead and bring this out of the way. I like to separate these out, so this is a center and a corner. So if I keep this on top, keep this to the side, then I can move this out here. Okay, so that's looking pretty chaotic, but I think we can do even better still. So I feel like I can move all sides, both superficial and deep slices, quite easily, quite readily. And a little bit more turning just to kind of get used to the motion a little bit more. Good. You can see the superficial cuts are really good. Okay, very playable puzzle so far. Alright, so you can see the difference. In something that's, in essence, the same kind of puzzle, you can see how different they look. Do a little bit of a variation in the structure, and you see how different the function looks. It's like an evolutionary change that causes wildly different physical characteristics, despite the fact that they're really the same on the inside. Okay, so to start off is like solving the 2x2, 2x2 axis cube. A 2x2 axis cube solve is no different than a normal 2x2 solve because all 2x2s are supercubes by definition. So it's really a matter of recognizing which pieces are where. It's sort of something of a skewed perspective. So we move our green one in place, if we can. This lines up here. We want the yellow one. Want that lined up correctly until we get it correctly. And now we have what appears to be this guy. R-I-D-I-R. Okay, so this is a very typical. The only thing that's going to be a little more challenging is not knowing which end is upside down and which end is right side up. So it's a little easier to visualize on a 3x3, but it looks like none of these are matching up. This, I believe, belongs here, but it's upside down. This probably belongs here, so I'll just move it in. Doing a corner swap. Okay, so that places that next to here. Okay, I think. So I'm going to get the red on the bottom, so that's R-I-D-I-R-D, 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 R-I-D-I-R-D. I'm going to move this here, and just one R-I-D-I-R-D should get the bottom back to its original position. And it does. So we move this back here. So these all belong here. These two have to be swapped to our U, to our UI, to R, turn it, to our UI, to our U, to R. This moves across here. So now we just do R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D. Move this in here, and doing the R-I-D-I-R-D 2 cycles of that should bring it in. And if you lose count, that's okay. You just keep doing it until it's in. Now, the difficulty with the 2x2 axis cube is the fact that it's going to be hard to visualize if something is upside down or right side up. So the regular 2x2 solve doesn't really have any challenges like that. So this is a really easy and straightforward solve. You'd have to bear in mind that this, and this is actually the same piece. So you're looking for the green with the white. So the green with the white is right over here. So this actually belongs here. This belongs here. And the other green, this obviously belongs here. So this is a much easier one to do. These are all in. And I know that it should be all blue on top. None of them are rotated up. So I can take more shortcuts by doing that. This is rotated up. This is not. So one more Sunni should rotate them all up. So this is all rotated. I'm looking at the 2 corners that's in, which is this. So I'm going to swap these two. This white will go here to our U, to our UI, to R. Turn to our UI, to our U, to R. So you can see the centers are in. So this is just a quick 2x2 solve, but you can see I had a much easier time of it with this than with this. So now I'm going to combine both challenges by doing an axis 2x2 solve with this. So let's see how I fare with that. We can start out here. Here's a green. And I'm looking for the other green that belongs here. So I've got 2 to choose from. So this piece is the same as this piece and this piece. So these are all actually the same piece. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a green that belongs next to another solid green. So there's a couple to choose from. Maybe it is this guy. So let's see. I'll move this to here. Nope, not to there. So even now, my perspective is a little off. Move this to here. Move this up here. Okay, so this is in. And we like the fact that this is lined up here too. So that tells me this is the correct one. So now I'm looking for a solid white one. and a solid white one, possibly this guy, or possibly this guy. Which one is it? Well, I don't know right off the bat. So I'm going to just move a couple in and see. I see that this does not line up. So maybe it's just upside down because this is the same piece. So maybe it's the right piece, just wrong perspective. So bearing in mind the way that it turns, this comes here and this comes here. Nope. So I'm doing the equivalent of RIDIRD. Now I'm not moving only because I have something not lined up. There we go. Move it in, so now this is in, and this is correct as well, but it's really, these are the same piece. So finally, I've got this piece that belongs over here. So I'm just going to move it in just below where it needs to be. And I appear to have lost it. So it's all this piece, it's all the same piece. This lines up here now, and now this is in. Okay, so I've got the first side, and that's not the difficult part, but you can see these all line up, not because they just happen to do that, but because this piece is the same as these guys, and this piece is the same as these. So now I'm going to turn it upside down, and in this chaos, I have to find out what's rotated right side up and what's rotated upside down. So what is a good way of doing this? Well, I'm seeing that I'm looking for green pieces over here. So where's something that has green in it? Not here, not here, here. So I think this belongs where? I think this belongs here, which is this piece. So I know that this guy is upside down. This is rotated upside down. So if that belongs here, this piece actually belongs here. This is rotated right side up. So this is right side up where it's supposed to be. This is upside down, and you are also where you're supposed to be, but this is upside down, and this is upside down. So everything is upside down except this. This is right side up. Now it would be easier to tell if, let's see, this needs to rotate like this. So the part that has to be upside, the part that has to be here is facing us. So if I see that, one Sunni should get everything right side up. So R, U, R, I, U, R, 2U, R, I. And bang, it worked. Okay, I didn't have as much of a hard time with that as I thought I might, but it was a matter of just reasoning out what should go where. So that's what's fun about this, is that you have to kind of surmise what has to go where. We'll move this where it's supposed to be, and bang. So now we have all of our centers in, and that was a 2x2. That was a 2x2 axis solve. So what I just did was a 2x2 axis solve. I just did this. I did it here in a non-supercube, in a just color way. I did this here in a shape and color way, using colors to guide me. Okay, so the next part is really we do our 4x4 solve. So that's this guy over here. So if I were to mess this guy up here. All right, so to get perspective on this, if I were to put this in, so I'm not going to solve it like this because it's not a supercube. The centers have meaning. Is I pick a place and I find a center that I'm going to deal with. So it's easier to demonstrate here. I'm going to start off with the green side, and it's easy to place. We do one side after another after another. This looks a lot like a 2x2 solve, but it's really nothing like it. So here's the green. I'm looking for the green and green with the yellow stripe. Green with yellow stripe right here. So this has more variability of motion in the 2x2. So this is in. This is in. I have one more green, which is here. Quite easy to place. Just like that. Okay, so this represents a center, and you saw how easy I was able to do that. None of the other centers are in, but the equivalent to this piece is, let's once again start off, well, it doesn't matter which side, but I'm going to use this as my anchor side, and I'm going to put these pieces in. This was the equivalent to putting this in. So if I were to do that, I can start off by looking for the green and white. So where's the green and white? Here's a green and white right here. I can just put it in. So now this, I'm looking for the white and blue. So white and blue is here, but it's a wrong white and blue because that belongs down here. There's two white and blues. So I'm going to look for the other white and blue, and that is going to be right here, the other white and blue. So now I'm going to do a lot of what I call a sliding U technique. This is going to pop into here. So I'm going to go up on the right with a middle move, slide it to the left. Then we're going to go up on the left with a middle move, slide it back to the right, down on the right with a middle move, slide it back to the left, down on the left with a middle move, slide it back. So in that way, that will place this without disturbing anything else. So that was the equivalent of putting the next one in. Now to put the next one in, I go over to here and look for the blue and yellow. You can see this is a yellow and blue. It's not the right one. So I look around for the right one. It's easy for me to get perspective with this, so finding these are not a problem. So I have this over here. I have to find out in what direction am I going to move this to pop into here. If I move it here, and then I move a slice over to here, move this whole slice here, now this is in line to come up to here. And this will fall into place over to here. So once again, middle up on the right, slide it to the left, whoop, up on the left, middle, slide it back to the right, down on the right, back to the left, down on the left, slide it back in. This is in, and I simply reconstruct it back here. So now I put my last center in, yellow and green, yellow and green. Let's find it right over here. So now I'm going to move this into this position. This is going to come down to here. Down on the left, slide it to the right, down on the right. I just inverted that. Slide it back to the right, rather, up on the right, slide it back to the left, up on the left, slide it back. Okay, so you can see this, what I just did, is equivalent to this. All these are in, and that represents the centers of this side. So let's apply that to here. So first off, let me find a center that I can use as kind of a I don't know, anchor. So it'll be the green and white. It'll be easier for me to see that. So let's start putting these guys in. What I'm looking for to start off with is I'm looking for something that's a green and a green. So two greens that are coming out at me. And it's going to be a little more difficult to get my perspective here. So, no, not that. Two greens. So here's a green and here's a green. It's these. So in what position are we in to move this down to here? Are we in such a position right now? Well, it looks like all we have to do is we're on the right side. So I move this around. Let's see, I thought it was anyway. Oh, no. Okay, it's right here. So let's see. Let's move this down. Move it down here. And now if I do a slice move to here, do I have what I need? No, it's not going to fall in like that. So you can see my perspective is quite off. Okay, actually if I do my slice move like this, and now will this come down to here? No? Interesting. Okay. Now the answer is probably fairly simple. I just have to get my perspective, and that's where the challenge of this is to take something that is generally simple and see if I can't make the perspective make sense. Okay, maybe I've got to slice it like this. I think I tried that. Okay. Yeah. Yes, okay, this will come up here. Now, it turns out this piece is already in. So this is in, and therefore this is in. So that was kind of a gimme. So we go up on the left. I gotta move this down. Slide it to the right. Up on the right. Slide it back to the left. Then we go down on the left. Slide it back to the right, and we go down on the right. And now we slide this back. Okay, this then gets reconstructed, and you can see this is in and this is in. This was already placed, this and this. So now we do the other center. What this is going to look like is this is going to be an orange one coming out at us, and this will be a yellow one coming out at us. So let's see if we can find that around here. orange and yellow coming out of us. So here's the yellow coming out at us. And where are you equivalent to? No, you don't move like that. So this is a yellow and a blue, so that's not it. Looking for orange and yellow. Here's an orange and blue. That's right where I started from. Orange and orange. Am I looking at this correctly? Yeah, I think so. Oh, here it is. Orange and yellow. Orange and yellow. So let's find the center that we were dealing with. I think I lost it. Okay. Orange and yellow. Okay, so it's right here. So these guys belong here. These guys. So what layer are you in that I can utilize? So this.
The one on your right. No, I don't look it up.
Okay, and this. Okay. All right, so I'm looking to see. Okay, I think we're on the right side here. So now this has to come up to here. So yes, up on the right, slide it to the left, and up on the left. Slide it back to the right. Got to get it lined up. Okay, good. Down on the right. Slide it back to the left. Make sure we're lined up. I have to wind it up just a little bit and down on the left, and then we slide it back. Okay, the only issue is sometimes by aligning it, it doesn't come in quite as well. There we go. Good, good, good. This is in and this is in. And now I have one more. This is going to be yellow that's flat and yellow and green. So here's a yellow and green, and here's a green that's flat. That's not what we're looking for. So we need another yellow and green right over here with a yellow. Haha! So you want to be up here. And you're moving in this direction. So what if I move you to here? If I move you here, are you gonna? No, you're not gonna come down there. Okay. So let's see how you're gonna go. If I move you to here, now you're gonna come up to here. Okay, so I'm slowly gaining my perspective. That's up, see right here, up on the left.
Yeah.
Slide it to the right. Up on the right. Slide it back to the left. Down on the left. Slide it back to the right. And down on the right. And then we slide it back. Good. Make sure it's lined up. Good. And bang. Okay, so what do we have here? What we have is all of these guys are in. I have the equivalent of this, which is simply the equivalent of this. One side here, this is one center here that's all across, and this is one center here that's all across. Here's my baseline center. The next step that I like to do on a supercube is I like to go upside down, and let's put these guys in, just because it's easier to visualize. So this will be easy. Move it up here, bring it down, move it down here. So this is more sliding U techniques. So I want another blue. You can see how easy it is to put these in. This will come up to here. Up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left. Back to the right, down on the right, back to the left, down on the left. This is in. And now this same thing here. Up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left, back to the right, down on the right, slide it, and done. Okay, so that's okay. Now, you can say, well, how did you know to do that? I only knew to do that because I know blue is opposite green. What if I didn't know that? If I didn't know that, then I may have to put these colors in because it will correlate with that. So I sort of cheated a little bit by knowing the color scheme. If I didn't know the color scheme, I would have to say, well, the white one belongs here, and then the rest will be patterned after that. So in a way that's kind of cheating, but you'll find out why in this puzzle it's not. So for this one, if I put this one in, the equivalent of doing the one that's upside down is turning it upside down and getting these guys in. So you can see how if I do that, I don't have to know the color scheme or have it memorized because I can see the color scheme. So in this case, because I've got the center 2x2 to guide me, even though it's a supercube, I could do it opposite, and opposite's just easier. So green and orange, green and yellow rather, green and yellow right here, so this will go down on the right, slide it to the left, down on the left. Slide it back to the right, up on the right, slide it back to the left, up on the left, put it back in, this is in. Yellow and blue is right here, so I just find where it's going to go to slide in. So this will come into here, up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left, back to the right, slide it back here and here, so this is in. This is already in, so that was a gift. And now we have white and green. White and green is here. So if I move this here, then I do a slice, I can get this lined up in this position, move it up, turn, down, turn, down, turn. So if anyone of you have any questions on this puzzle or this puzzle, I guess we're going through that too. Okay, so you can see this is the top and bottom. This is the equivalent to this, top and bottom. Here, top and bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom. So let's try our hand at this. So what I'm going to do is turn this upside down and do the same thing and see what I can find here. So this is going to be, we'll start off with a white that comes out at us and a red that comes out at us. So here's a yellow and here's a white and here's a red. So this is easy, it's in prime position. So down on the left, or right rather, slide it to the left, down on the left. Slide it back to the right, up on the right, slide it back to the left, and up on the left, and bring it back. Now what I've shown is by doing this, you don't worry about this at all. As long as you're doing the sliding U technique, this was not affected by placing this, and these are not affected by placing these, so I shouldn't have to worry. Let's move to this side, and I'm looking for the red that's flat and the red and blue. So let's find that. So far so good. No big tricks here. Just finding it. Okay, here's a red and blue with the red over here. So this, I think I can move to here and it should fall into place. This red, I know it's hard to see here, but this red will come down to here. So it's down on the right, slide it to the left, down on the left. Slide it back to the right, up on the right. My hope is this, anybody considering buying this, seeing the movement of this puzzle and how smooth it is, I hope this is belaying any of your concerns with that. I did have to lubricate it a bit, but it's working really well. So this is in and this is in. Now we've got the two flat blues right over here, down on the right, slide it to the left, down on the left. Slide it back to the right, up on the right, slide it to the left, and up on the left, and now we slide it back. So it's interesting that the same technique will take one puzzle that looks much more chaotic into something more ordered. Okay, now we have the blue and white with the flat white. I thought I saw that somewhere here. Blue and white, and I think this is the wrong one because it's with the flat blue. We don't want that. We want the other blue and white. See if we can easily find that. Where are you, other blue and white? Oh, this guy looks mostly in. Interesting. Other blue and white. Right over here. Other blue and white. You want to go... Oh, you know, is this the same one? Yes, the same one. Right over here. Yep, it's got to be this one. Okay, so... Where do you want to go? Oh, I lost perspective. Right here and here. Okay. Whatever movement I do with this is not going to offset anything. So do I have to do a middle move like this. Nope, actually we're not aligned yet. Okay, so this is where perspective becomes a little fun challenge. Where do you want to go in? Okay, you want to go up here, so let's move you to here. And now if I go like this, nope. The reason why I'm having a hard time with that is because I'm on the wrong side.
Why?
Okay, a little snaggy here, but it does move. I'm sure something very simple that I'm not seeing. I gotta make sure I'm not moving the wrong thing here. Move this to here, and yes, okay, so this comes up to here. So up on the right, slide it to the left. I'm not sure how I got turned around like that, but it's easy to see when you got pieces that are off to the side. Here, then down. So it happens when you get too used to one kind of structure or too used to one way of doing things, you end up inflexible to adaptation. And down, and boom. And I'll just move this back in. Okay, so now we have this whole thing in. So you can see tops and bottoms are all done. So these are all done here. So what do I do next? Well, the next part on our supercube type journey is you want to start getting these guys in. So let's see, this moves pretty freely here. So this is going to be the red side. So I know that this is going to be the red side with the green on top. So it's pretty easy to visualize here. If this is red, yellow and blue, here's blue here, so that's good. This white will match with this white stripe, so I can move these guys any way I want without destroying the centers. This will move here and that's fine. The final red is here. Just do a sliding U technique. 2R, slide it to the left. 2L, slide it back to the right. 2R, slide it back to the left. And 2L. Okay, so without much muss or fuss, I'm able to put this center in, which lines up with this. Oop. Lines up with this blue lines up with this, and this red is already lined up. Okay, so in that way, I'm able to get this in, and then it's just a matter of putting all the other sides in. Let's just talk about the equivalent to this. The equivalent to this is I'm just going to, now that I have the top and bottom, I'm just going to turn it to one side, and I'm going to get all of these until I get all the green ones in. So I'm going to do this side here. So I'm looking for the green and red. You can see there's a green and red here, but it's the wrong one. Here's an orange and blue, so that's already in. So why don't we find the orange and green? Here's an orange and green here. I'm going to move this to here. This is the wrong one because I'm not going to be able to pop it in there. So looking for another orange and green. Actually, am I sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure, because this green will end up being upside down. Here's another orange and green, so it must be this guy here. So I'm going to move this up to here. Okay, how do I position this? This will move to here. Okay, so this will be right up where it needs to be. Up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left. Back to the right, down on the right, back to the left, down on the left, slide it back. Move this back in. Okay, green and red. Here's a green and red here. We'll position this up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left. Put this puzzle through a lot of punishment. Okay, so that's good. Now notice I haven't destroyed any of these. Now I'm looking for the red and blue. Red and blue is right here, so put it into position. So you can see once you have the perspective on this, it's a relatively straightforward solve. So this is a perspective of a perspective. Well, a perspective of a perspective. So there you have. So now all these are in, and we can see that these three are in as well. So let's go ahead and try that with this. So I'm going to move it off to a side, kind of finishing my green, so to speak. Let's get these guys in. So I'm looking for the green and the green and yellow. Green and the green and yellow. So let's look for a green and yellow. That should be right over here with the green. So it's this guy here, and he wants to come up. Well, he's on the opposite side. So this represents the opposite side. So I think what I'm going to have to do is move him twice like so. If my calculations are correct, green. If I go 1, 2, nope, calculations were not correct. Where did you go? You're right here. Let me try that again. Okay, yeah, we're right here. I think what's happening is I'm flipping perspectives too much, so it's making things chaotic. So this truly is on the opposite side, so this guy has to get lined up to where it needs to go here. So 1, 2, that's it, right over here. 1, 2. On the right, slide it to the left, and then a middle move, 1, 2, 1, 2 on the left, slide it back to the right, 1, 2, 1, 2 on the right, slide it back to the left, and 1, 2, 1, 2 on the left, and slide it back. As long as I do that, I'm not going to mess up anything here. So this is in and this is in. Let's go ahead and do 2 flat yellows, which is right here. I think I need to go here and... Is it here? Nope. Other side. So let's move this down. Here and... here. Okay, so this will slide up to here. There it is. That fits up on the right. Slide it to the left. Up on the left. Slide it back to the right. Down on the right. Slide it back to the left. Oh, we seem to be snagging here somehow. Something's not lined up. There we go. And down on the right. So I like doing it this way because it practices shifting perspectives, and that's a useful lesson. Okay, this goes here. So now we have kind of coming out at you. Well, actually it's going to be red and white, so it's going to be this one. I think that's the only one that's left with the red one. Okay, so how am I going to line you up? Well, I'm glad I asked. Quite easily. So this will go here. So up on the right, slide it to the left. This is for those who like to see a puzzle solved all the way through. Up on the right, left rather. Slide it to the left, down on the left, slide it to the here, I said left for my rights, and this will go here. Now sometimes you'll find on a puzzle like this, you get caught in a certain position, or caught in a certain point in the solve, and you can't seem to get past it. You know it's something not particularly difficult, but your perspective just can't seem to do it. So let's see what I get caught up in. Sometimes it's the 2x2 solve, believe it or not. So now this is the final one, red coming out at me and green coming out at me. So here's a red coming out and a green coming out. So let's get the red in. I believe I can move this to here, and now the red is going to come up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left, slide it back to the right. Now we got to go down on the right, and now that I know the perspective, I can get it lined up much better. And turn. Okay, and this will turn back here. And then we're back to the center, so you can see these 3 are in, just like these 3 are in, just like these 3 are in. So it's interesting, these 3 are equivalent to these 3 centers all the way around the puzzle, which are equivalent to these 3. So the next step, well, from here, I've just got 3 more centers left. So what I would do is I would generally get it to the last 2 centers, but the technique is really the same. So this is obviously going to be the white center. So I'm just going to move things in, and it doesn't matter what order I move it in. So there's this. Here's a white here. This doesn't match up with anything here, but this white does. So if I were to look for the white with the orange stripe, it's right here. I move it into the position it's got to be. 2L, slide it to the right. 2R, slide it back to the left. 2L, back to the right. 2R. What I like about this technique is it does not mess up anything that you just did. So see, this moves to here, up on the right, slide to the left, up on the left, back to the right, down on the right, back to the left, and there you go. So now this white one has to move 2, so line it up to where it's got to go. 2R, slide to the right, left rather, 2L, slide it back, and back, and you have this. So we can line this up to where it needs to be so you can see all these are in. Now we're down to the last 2 centers. This automatically got solved, so that was sort of a gift. Oh, no, actually it didn't. This actually belongs here. So we'd have to go like this, and bring it down, then this. It's kind of like a sliding U technique, but just puts it in the right place. So you can see that this is here, but these are not rotated correctly. So to get that in, once you get it down to the last center, put this where it needs to be. These two have to be flipped, so I'm just going to do an adjacent edge swap. Now you may think, well, how are you going to flip these without flipping something else? Well, and that's easy, because when I flip these two, it's going to flip things here and not here, because I'm going to do middle slices and end slices. So I'm just going to do an edge swap, and it'll get everything in. So 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, B, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. This moves back. Now notice, it did swap these, but it didn't do anything to any of these guys because I wasn't using middle moves like this, like I did on the 2x2 solve. I used an end move like that when I did my U's. So, and I'm not even putting these in yet. So with that said, I can now line all these guys up. I think they already are. And all the centers are in. So to get the rest of these in, if I were to move this into place, this side here, none of these are in. So I'm looking for the green and orange. Here's a green and orange here. Move this down. Same techniques. So this is in. Orange and blue right over here. So usually I have to do like one middle slice to get it lined up. A little bit of deconstruction. Move it back. Blue and red. Should not be hard to find. Blue and red right over here. So this appears to be, well, right here. Down on the right, down on the left, up on the right, and up on the left. So that's in. Red and green. So you find that it gets easier and easier to find these pieces because there's less that you have to deal with. Oh, okay. So you see all these are in, and we just have 2 more sides to go. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, two more sides to go. So all these are in. So let's do the equivalent to this. Let's put the rest of these in. So I'm now going to do this. This will be sort of like an entire center here, but not real center. So what I'm looking for are the 2 flat whites, and it's right over here. So this will go up on the right, slide it to the left, and up on the left. Slide it back to the right, down on the right, slide it back to the left, and down on the left. Oops, there we go. Down on the left. No problems, no worries. Okay, so this is all in. Let's keep going around. White and blue. Right over here, white and blue, and this is probably the correct one. So let's move this up to where I think it needs to be. Well, not over there. Okay, it looks like it might be 2 off. Yeah, okay, so up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left. Remember, these are middle slices here, because these are middle moves. We go back down, up, and we have to remember to move the center one here. Let's move this here, or the edge here. Oop, I lost track of what I was doing. I was talking too much. Here, and move this back here. All right, in. So now we're looking for a blue that comes out at me and an orange that comes out at me. Shouldn't be hard to find. Blue and orange. Oh, it's right there. Down on the right, slide it to the left. down on the left. Slide it back to the right. Got to get you lined up. Back to the right, up on the right, slide it back to the left. If it doesn't move, it's not because it's locking, it's because it's just not aligned. Okay, and this slides back, I believe. Good. Okay, in. I need an orange and a green, and we're done with this side. Done with that center. So here's orange and a white, rather. Orange and a green. Nope, wrong one. This guy. This guy right here. Oh, gotta get you aligned if you're gonna move. And I think you're gonna go here. Nope, I think you're gonna go here. No, not there. Let's take you back to here. I think you're going to go one more, like so, and then you're going to go to, you're going to turn? Yeah, you're going to go to here. Right here, okay. Okay, lost track for just a second. Up on the right, slide it to the left, up on the left, back to the right, down on the right, back to the left, down on the left, and this turns here, and this turns back. Okay, so we have our next center in, and you can see all of these are in, just like all of these are in, which is equivalent to, well, I already put all these in. So now we do the last two centers. Last two centers should also be straightforward. I drift away from this and I pick any two, and it's just going to be the bottom. Now these last two centers are opposites. I chose to do opposites with this one. So if I look at this, this is in. So it's either going to be here or here that I'm going to find everything. So white and orange. Here's a white and orange here. So I'm going to move it opposite. Oop. No, this is the wrong one. This actually belongs here. So this is the white and orange. So move it opposite where it's going to be. 2R, slide to the left, 2L, back here, 2R, back here, 2L, and back in. Okay, so now this is it. Orange and yellow, I just have to look down here for it, and I can find it. Oh, well, I gotta move it in through here. So it's just easier to keep track on this particular puzzle if I make the last two the opposite. Now here I didn't do the opposite, I did it next to each other, but it really doesn't matter. So yellow and red, I should find it here, and I do. I've got two to choose from. It's this one, this yellow and red, not this yellow and red. So once you've found that those two pieces are the same pieces, they're center pieces, it becomes quite easy. Okay, so this is the last, now we're on the last center here. The way the last center works is it's just like we did here, we end up doing a corner swap. So find two that are in, there should be two. If two are not in, then I just do a random corner swap. So this is fine, so I'm just going to do a random corner swap. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R UI D, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This moves back. When I do that, two should be in, that's these two. Move this where it's supposed to be. Notice this is correct and this is correct. This situation now, with these guys that have to be swapped, is exactly what we found when we found that one of these two had to be swapped. So it's the same thing. Corner swap. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R, UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. Move this in, and all these centers are done, which is the equivalent to this. Let's see if we can find much ground with this. So this was our base center so that we can get perspective. Now we pick any one of them and it's going to be top and bottom. So let's see, maybe we already have some here. I'm seeing two oranges. So maybe these two oranges belong somewhere here, and actually they don't. How about this? Okay, so this belongs here too. So let's find two flat reds. It should be down here somewhere. Two flat reds right here. So too, I'm going to move it opposite and go exactly what we did before. Whoop. First I have to line it up correctly. Two flat reds. Where do you have to be to make this happen? Oh, you gotta be here maybe? Maybe I just didn't have it lined up right. Okay, so 2R, yeah, that was it. Gotta move this 2R. Remember the superficial area I have to do 2. Move it to the left, 2L, and this moves as a 2L. Move it back to the right, and once again, 2R, 2R. I have to keep track of when I'm done with the 2R here. Move it back here, and 2L, 2L. Move this back to here. Okay, so you can see this is in, this is in. So now I'm looking for, and this is in, yellow and blue. I should be able to find it here pretty easily. Yep, yellow and blue. So you're going to go opposite here, just like before, and go, we do 2R, 2R, slide it here, 2L, 2L, slide it back, 2R, 2R, slide it here, and 2L, and 2L, and slide it back. Okay. So that should be this whole side here. Now we're down to the last side. So we're going to turn it upside down, and we're going to see what 2 we already have in. If we have 2 in. So these are in. Let's move it here. But these don't represent 2 different edges. This is the same piece. So do we have 2 that are in, and we don't, I don't think. Interesting. Okay, so just like we had with this, we're just going to do a random corner swap. So 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, D, 2R, UI, 2R, U, and whoop, 2R. And this moves back, just like that. Okay, so now we look for the 2 corners that are in. There should be 2. Yes, so this is in, and this is in. Oh, let me see about that. This is in. Oh, that's interesting. Why are you not in? What's going on with you? These are the same piece. These are the same piece. Oh, same piece. If you're in, that's interesting to me. Same piece. Same piece, but if this is in, oh, okay. I was looking at this in a bizarre way. So this is the same piece here, and this is the same piece here. So these 2 are in, so that's the equivalent of these 2. So these 2 are the equivalent, basically, same piece of these 2. You can't see it because it's hidden in here. Here. So that's the equivalent of these 2 pieces. So these 2 would be the equivalent of these 2, where this is the same piece as this, and this is the same piece as this. Okay, so one corner swap, and we'll get all of them in. So if you can imagine, this will end up here, and this will end up here. So that's 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, and that's UI, D, and 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. We move this back, and now all these centers should be in, and they are. So this is equivalent to this, which is equivalent to this. These are all equivalent, but you can see we've got a lot more order. All these centers appear to be in. The central 2x2 and the supercenters of a 4x4. And we say, well, it's really the same kind of solve, so why do it? Well, by doing an axis 2x2, a persistence of mastery puzzle, it reminds me of what it takes to skew my perspective, to take something that is the same solution to a puzzle and to just skew my perspective and to remind me that sometimes I have to take a different viewpoint and to not to get too rigid in my thinking or in my way of doing things so that I'm unable to translate that way of doing things into a different arena. So it's just sort of a life's lesson to remind me that I have to change my thinking sometimes and skew my perspective to allow different variations of what I see around me to accommodate that to solve the same problem. So what do I do from here? Well, from here, after doing the centers, well, you do your edge reduction. And edge reduction is fairly straightforward, and this is where the fact that this is not an over-the-top puzzle could be of a benefit because it's not as cumbersome in this way. So in other words, you don't have to do endless reduction with this, where you get it already. Now notice when I do this, I'm going to be turning the centers around, and I don't care about if they're oriented with each other, because that I can do. So for instance, if I want to reduce this is pretty easy. Bring it down. I'm going to replace it with this over here, so this can't be reduced. So bring it down, bump it out of the way, put this in its place, and then bring it up. What I'm going to do next then is I see the blue and orange. I find the other blue and orange, which is somewhere here. Okay. It's probably right in front of me. Yeah, it is, blue and orange. Now, when I move this into place, I'm going to move this here and here. I've taken this away from its perspective, but I don't worry about that. I'm going to keep that there as long as they're reduced relative to each other. So move it down, turn, turn, turn. This is 4x4 reduction. I'm not really doing anything any different. So this is now reduced. I'm looking for the green and white right over here. So I'm going to move this in position so it's just above where it needs to be. Slice it down. Now remember, this one can't be in, this one can't be solved. So slice it down, do a D move to get it out of the way, do an R move to put this in position, do a DI move to replace it, and then move it back up. So now this is in. So we do this all around the puzzle. These centers are going to be rotated in relation to each other, but we don't really care. And we do this all the way until the very last portion. But as another example, here's the red and white. Red and white is here. I'm going to move this into position so it's just below where I want it to be. I don't want to keep this on the top because it's going to be destroyed. So I move this up instead, down, move it out of the way, replace it with this guy, move it back in, and move it up. We do this one next, and it's already lined up. And then we'll do our reduction. We might as well do this. This goes to here. It's not right below where it needs to be, so bring it up to here. This is going to come down here. This is already in, so move this over to here. Bring it down to match it up. Bump it to the side. Replace it with this guy by moving this in its place. Move it back. Move this back up. Okay, so you see very quickly we end up with all of them reduced. Now just in case we came to the last two, you can see that everything is in except these two. You line it up to where the two matching colors are just across from each other, hold in this position, then do the algorithm, a deep slice, U, then R, Fi, U, Ri, F, and then we slice it back, and that'll put all those in. So all these got reduced quite easily. This is done exactly the same way. So notice as I'm about to move the centers so that they're not in relation to each other, these won't be in relation to each other also. So I'm not going to maintain this configuration. It can be like this, but they're still going to be correct in conjunction with each other. So don't worry about that. So blue and yellow is here. So you see me moving this all around, but I'm not de-reducing the centers when I do this. So this is going to come down. So down, bump it out of the way, move this in its place, move this here. So in this way, and move this back up, you can see I'm doing it exactly like a supercube. Do not worry about these guys at all at this point. Green and yellow. Find the other green and yellow, which is right here. Move this into place. Make sure this, take this out of the top. Move it down. We're going to do a DI, L, D. Bring it back up. That's when you do it on this side. Red and blue. Red and blue. Red and blue. Right over here. So I put it to where it's right below where it's got to be. This is going to match up to here. Then I got to put this out of the way. If it's on the left side, we bring this down where it's supposed to be. DI, L, D, bring it up. Okay, white and blue. Now see how it appears like I'm messing up these centers? I'm really not. So they're still reduced. Just like these are not oriented in conjunction with each other, neither are these, but we can easily move them back. See? Move them back, no worries. But right now I just want to find the white and blue, which is right here. So bring it down. So in this case on the right side, you bring it down, then do D, R, I, D, I, bring it up. I'm only saying this because I assume knowledge of 4x4, but just in case you had some issues with that, I figured I'd say it anyway. So this will come down to here. And again, it's not an over-the-top puzzle, so just when you think you've been doing this long enough, you're generally almost done. So this will come down to here. Get this out of the way, bring it down, replace it, and there that is. Red, so this is all ready to go. These are already reduced, so I have to put a different one on top. So move it down, DI, L, D, bring it up. Green and yellow. Right over here. Bring this down to here, so this will come down to here. This guy's not reduced yet, so we bring it down, DI, L, D, bring it up. Now I'm looking for the white, it's right over here. So let's move this to the other side like so. This will come down to here. This is in, this is in, and this is in. This is not, so I'm just going to move this here. Bring it down, D, R, I, D, bring it up. Okay, much of them are in, and we're down to the last two, I think. And that's going to be these guys here. So what we do is we orient it so that the two that have to be paired are right across from each other, and do the same algorithm. Slide it here, do R, F, I, U, R, I, F, slide it back, and it's all reduced. Now you can see that these appear to be taken out, but they're really not. Just like I can quite easily turn this in the proper direction. Get all these greens up here, this green up here, this green up here, and then I can line this up. So too, it's easy enough to just turn these until they're all back in. So we don't worry about that. So all the edges are reduced and all the centers are in. Let's do it with this. So edge reduction. We do this based on color and shape. So you can see these like to be by each other by shape, but not by color. So this is blue and orange. I want the orange and blue, not the orange and white. So I'm going to start turning this. These centers will seem to be de-reduced, but they're really not. You know what? I'll tell you what. This and this can line up. Green and orange. Green and orange. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to start doing things that might make us a little nervous, but it shouldn't. Anyway, this has to be across from where it needs to go in at. So bang. So this is going to come down to here. We make sure this is not reduced, which is not. So I'm going to move this in here so you can see this is now reduced. Do my D to get it out of the way. RI to move this in. And then DI to replace it. And then move this back up. So you can see nothing was taken out, just not oriented right. And now we look at this. So this is a white and yellow, orange rather. So I'm looking for the big orange, small white. By big orange I mean big orange sticker right over here. So this guy needs to come up over to, well, actually, to here. So this will come in. So we go down, then I do my D, RI, DI, and this will come up. Bang. So now this is reduced. So I've got blue and orange. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Oh, you know what? It's blue and red, not orange. That's why. So it's this guy right here. It's in front of me the whole time. So let's move it into position. You see a little alignment issue here. So it moves great, but it is not forgiving with alignment. So no corner cutting with this. Actually, I had it right the first time. Move this up here and here. So make sure, now this is actually, no, it's not reduced, never mind. There's my orange-red issue. So move this down to here. Bump it out of the way, make sure we're lined up. Oh, there we go, we weren't even close to lined up. Bump it out of the way. Move this down. So the terminal, the superficial slices are a little difficult to line up, so it does get a little snaggy. Sometimes a little more than others, but I'm trying to move this. It doesn't want to yet. It's resisting. Boom. Now remember, these are prototype puzzles, so when they're plastic, they may be able to corner cut a little bit better. So this is in. Okay, blue and white. It's going to be a large white and a blue. And again, I can rely on the fact that not being an over-the-top puzzle just when it starts to get cumbersome, so I don't want to move this, have this on top, then we should be almost done with this kind of reduction. This is already reduced. This is already reduced. These are not. So let's move this in place. Turn. Okay. So we've got down. Then I do my superficial DI. Then L, D, and move her up. So yellow and green. Let's find that one. So it's going to be big yellow, small green, right over here. Turn and turn. So there's something that we call cognitive functioning. Cognitive functioning is the ability to plan things out. So where to position this, I think, helps really with practicing cognitive functioning. So this is actually another shape of an edge, and they're obviously not reduced. So this is also open to be utilized. So down here, move it out of the way. So perspective and cognitive functioning, these puzzles do practice. I'm starting to sound like Yoda now. Do practice? We do. Up, it goes over here. Okay, so here's a yellow. Let's find the small yellow that looks like an edge. Right over here. Okay, so let's move this into its proper place just below. So this can come to here. This has not been solved yet. This obviously does not belong with this here. So we go down, and they're separated by such a large space that we have to take for granted that these two come together. We have to recognize, not take for granted, but recognize that these two come together. Move this out of the way. Move this in place. Bring this in and move it up. Okay, so this red is matched with red. Okay, here's blue. Where's a small blue? Right over here. Hard to find, but right over here. And we're going to move this to here. Okay, good. So which ones are not in? This is not in here. No, it is. But this is not. But it did that one. Maybe I took it out. Okay. So this will come to here. Bump it out of the way. Bring this down. Move this in. And move it up so no one gets hurt. Okay, it looks like I might have the majority, if not all of them, done. So this is in, this is in. So I kind of got lucky in that I didn't have to do that quick algorithm to do the last two edges. But it appears that all of our edges are reduced. Let me just be sure. I don't see any loose ends here. Okay, so if I wanted to get these centers configured again, I'll do that, and that's easy. I'll just keep moving this until that's in. I'll keep moving this until these are in. And I'll keep moving this until these are in. Are they all in? Okay. So basically now we have the same situation with this. So if we were to look for similarities, this, and this are all equivalent. This still looks like sort of a mess because you got all these different color stickers. This has some symmetry to it because you can see the centers all look fine. The edges are all the same. Same thing with this, although you have pieces chaotically falling everywhere. The centers are all in, so you can see the structure of the cube. Remember what it looked like before, you couldn't see any structure. The rest is a 4x4 supercube solve. The issue with the 4x4 is because we reduced this to a 3x3, we reduced from one parity to another, so we may run into a parity problem. A parity problem is where you can't solve it with the parity that you reduced it to. So we move this up. We've got all this here. So for green, all right, so far piece of cake, right? No problems, no worries. We just put our corners in. And what I'm doing is I'm just rolling it in. Oop. That was just for practice. Now I'm just rolling in the corners. You can just do RIDI, RD to move them in. This wants to come in here. Okay, so far so good. This is good. This isn't lined up here. Made a little mistake. Okay, we do our algorithm to move these where they're supposed to be. Nothing different about this than a normal 4x4. This will come down to here. U, I, L, I, U, L, U, F, U, I, F, I. Pops that into here. No problems. We'll move this one in too. And we'll keep going with this. This will go here, UILI, UL, UF, UIFI. And this will come here. The R config, the right side here, UR, UIRI, UIFI, UF, and the middle layer is done. So we get it all the way to the last layer. And I think it's useful to do that here as well. Just get them all to the last layer. So this one obviously doesn't belong here. This belongs here. It's the same thing. Move this green stripe down. This represents the green stripe. Move this in position and then move this up. So that's all good. This guy, let's move him down. To move him in conjunction with this, double turn, move him in, double turn, so that we're matching the centers. It's a little maybe harder to visualize than it was with this, that these represent these guys, but it's the same strategy. This for the white one, bump it out of the way, move this green stripe down so I can line up this green with this, and now this will come up to here to line up with the white. Alright, so this, we'll have to move this green stripe down so I can line this green stripe with this, and I'll move this orange to orange and this back down. Okay, corners, put it right below where you need it, and roll it in using an RIDI-RD type motif. RD. You've got all this here. Whoa! Where did you go? Where do you think you're going? You are not dismissed. I didn't ask you to leave. There you go. He tried to make a break for it. Cube piece revolution. Okay. So this you'll find slides in exactly the same way. This down to here, UR, UI, RI, UI, FI, U, F. Pops that in here, no changes here. Unless you do a planetary version, you have no fear of anything being messed up. UI, LI, U, L, U, F, UI, FI. This is the slow beginner's method, and it served me well. This is not the hard part. Anybody can learn this trick, the beginner's method. But we're going to get right up to the last layer, which we have here. Okay, let's get right up to the last layer here as well. Which side? Let's go ahead and do this center. So we're going to put our edges in, and this may be a little more challenging. This is the, what is this? So this is going to be the single green edge, which is right over here. So we're going to move this down. I see I already lost perspective. Move this down. Then we move this in. So it's like I'm moving this green stripe down. I'm not lined up somehow. There we go. Move this in. Now this is upside down. I've got this in upside down. So that's that. So this is upside down. So which means I'm going to move this stripe like this. That's that cognitive planning I was talking about. That executive functioning, rather. And I failed with that particular executive functioning test. Move this in. You can see this matches up with this stripe. And then we move it back. We'll go ahead and move this back as well. Okay, so this edge is in. You can see it fits snug. This is going to be another white edge, pure white edge, and that's found over here. And since this is on that side, let me hold off on that. I'm going to do the white and orange edge, so it's going to look like this. It's going to be white, green and orange rather, and that's, oh, so these two need to be swapped. So let's go ahead and move this down, like so. Move these green stripes back, and now we're going to do it with this. So let's move this down. Now if I move this down, this fat edge is going to end up here, opposite where this is supposed to be. So I'm just going to move it down to here, move this stripe down like so. Now I'm going to move this up, and aha! So good executive functioning on that part. That one I passed. Finally. This goes to here, and we'll move this back to here. Okay, so I've got these two in. Now that I've done that, I believe I had to take one out. Oh yeah, let's move this back in. Boom. Okay, so where's that orange and the white? Right over here. Okay, let's see if I can plan this out. This will end up here to line up with this. Let's see how my executive functioning is doing now. And still intact, so I matched it up with this stripe. It's easy to match up the color, it's harder to match up shape. I think it's a different area of your brain. Any neurocognitive people here? So green and orange, yellow rather. Green and yellow, where are you? Right over here. Okay, so let's move this to the side here. Move this up, it matches. Move this back, and we ought to move this down. Okay, so now we need the white. Oh, I took this out, didn't I? That wasn't good executive planning, was it? Okay, well, let's move this to the bottom. And I'll move this to here, to here. Now that's in, and boom. Okay, so we have our cross, so to speak. All these edges are in, and now we do the corners. This is a large corner, but it belongs here. This belongs here. So this is going to be the small green one. Is a small green one here somewhere? No. So where's that small green? How about the yellow? Orange, rather. Small orange corner, right? Nope, that's an edge. That's a red. No. Aha! Need a domino effect where I get them all in bit by bit. Okay, so this is going to be here. It's going to be on the side. So let's see if I can practice my executive functioning with this. So good, that was here and here. Okay, the one that I took out was the green, so that's going to come here. Okay, so I think if I move this out of the way, let's see if I can plan this a little bit too. Move this down, across, and up. Nope, I failed in my executive functioning and pre-planning and visualization. Turn, turn, turn. Nope, not in yet. Oh, it's gotta be facing down. Okay, now we can do it. Yeah, so there's no corner cutting, and that's throwing me off just a little bit. Okay, so next is a big one. This should be easy to visualize, and that's this guy. It goes straight up, so that means if I bring this straight down, like so, it's easy for me to match the color than just the shape. Turn and turn, so we're looking good. Corner in, corner in, corner in. We got one more, and that's orange. Right here. It's got to be down here somewhere, and it's this. It's got to come up, which means it should point up as soon as I turn here, here, and here. Okay, so this side is done. Let's turn it upside down and not lose our perspective. This is going to be this red one, and this will slide in like this. So it's going to be, oops, U, R, U, I, R, I, U, I, Fi, U, and F. You realize I'm just doing commutators on top of commutators with this. Okay, this is going to be the white and blue, so this is a right-sided technique. Same algorithm. U, R, U, I, R, I. That's one commutator. Then U, I, Fi, U, F. That's the second commutator. So a commutator is just, you do two moves and you reverse the two moves. And that's all I'm doing. Okay, so what belongs here? This is going to be the orange and... Okay, this is going to be the flat orange. And now this is going to roll into here because this is a small corner. So UI, LI, then we reverse that to U, L, that's commutator number one, then U, F, and UI, Fi, that's commutator number two. Finally we do this one, and this is going to be this orange and green, and that's going to slide in like this, UI, Li, and U, L, so just do two moves and undo those two moves. That's your first commutator. U, F, UI, Fi. Now this nylon stuff is not as forgiving as the plastic, so that's why there's no corner cutting. Okay, so these are all equivalent here. We've got it all to the last layer. Now the reason why I stopped is because of the possibility of parity. So we take a look here, and we see that one is upside down, or one is right side up, the rest are upside down. When that happens, put the right one to the left, and then do F, R, U, R, I, U, I, F, I. It puts all of them right side up. This has to be right side up, and it's not. So this is a parity problem because you never get this on a 3x3. So with a parity problem, you have a 3x3 parity and a 4x4 parity. When you convert from one parity to the next, you can get a parity problem. Undo this by the Red Bull algorithm. To R, to B, to U, L. That's Red Bull. To up, RI, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, then liberate, LI, to B, to R. So you can see the rotated up. Okay, this one doesn't have parity, so we got lucky. All we have to do is F, U, R, UI, RI, Fi. Okay, so all these are happy to be up. So now we'll do the same thing with this. What's upside down, what's right side up? Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? So I'm just going to line them up to where they're supposed to be. And I can see this is upside down, so we know that. This one's upside down. This guy, who's supposed to be here, This is right side up. So we have upside down, right side up. What about you? You are upside down. So upside down, right side up, upside down. Do we have parity? Upside down, right side up, upside down. I move this here and there is no parity because this is also right side up. So upside down, right side up, right side up. Oops, upside down, right side up, upside down, right side up. Okay, so these are right side up and these are upside down. So we hold it over here and just do F R U R I U I F I. So now they should be all right side up. Now here's something that I noticed that's interesting. I almost never get the Red Bull parity with the circle cubes. There may be a reason for that. It may have to do with the fact that we've got the center 2x2 that helps coordinate things, but I've never gotten that with the circle cube, no matter how many times that I've done that. So I didn't expect to get that kind of parity, but I do get that with this. And I'm wondering, because it has nothing to do with being a supercube, because as you can see, you can get it with this. It may have to do with just how it's coordinated with the centers. So I'm going to have to puzzle upon that. But the next step then is to try to get these stripes in with these. And you can see this is correct, and these are not. And that's the best situation because I know there's not going to be another kind of a parity called the URF parity. The way that we do this is we SUNY the heck out of this until these are all where they're supposed to be. RU, RIU, R2U, RI. Putting this in front of you. These aren't in yet. RU, RIU, R2U, RI, and we're all fine. Okay. How about here? Well, the equivalent to that is this is in, this is not, and up, this is in. So this does have that parity. And what do we do about that? Well, it might be easier to visualize with this. Well, so I put it in this position. I put it in this position where you can see these two are in and these two are out. That's the same situation. Now, what I'm going to do is, notice these two are opposite each other. To get out of this, you got to do that. You got to put it opposite each other. So I'm going to SUNY this until I have this one correct opposite here. So RU, RIU, R2U, RI. So you can see this is in and this is in and these two are out. Let's see what situation we have here. Right now you can see none of these are lined up with the proper place. So I'm just going to SUNY it and see who can get into the proper place. R, U, RI, U, R, 2U, RI. Okay, so we have a problem because this is lined up with its proper center stripes. This is lined up with its proper center stripes. This isn't, and this isn't. So we have the URF parity. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this in front of me and get the correct one in over here. So it's going to be R, do it a SUNY, U, RI, U, R, 2U, RI. Okay, not in yet. R, U, RI, U, R, 2U, RI. By the way, what I'm about to do, you can apply to any supercube. Any 4x4, 6x6, whatever supercube. So this is in matched up with its stripes. This is in matched up with this stripes. These two need to be swapped. This belongs here and this belongs here. So there is a way of doing a swap. Here's a version of URF algorithm. 2U, 2R, 2F. Then you do 2U, 2U, then 2F, 2R, 2U. You can see it swapped these two. So maybe I can just do that. The problem is things were happening with these center rotations that you didn't see with this. So if I try to do that, say in this case here, notice that we're all lined up here. I want to swap these two. Let's try that here. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U. This is U, by the way. 2F, 2R, 2U. It does indeed swap that, but look what it did here. It rotated this entire center, and what's more, it rotated this center. So it caused center rotation of 180 degrees of all of these. And believe me when I tell you, no matter what you do to try to rotate these back, you will not take that parity out with what you did. And actually, yeah, so it caused those rotations. Let's get it back. 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2D. Now this is the final challenge. Can this hold up to the perspective change? So the variation of the URF algorithm is there's a way to do this where it'll cause these two to swap but will not cause any center rotation. And here's how that's going to work. So the way that this is going to work is you start off with a middle slice with UI, then R terminally, then you do an end R, FI, then U, RI, F. Then you do a middle U and a middle D, then finish it with FI, R, UI, F, RI, and then move that back with a DI. What you're going to find, it rotates this, but does not change the rotation of your centers. That's the key. That's how you do it. So let's translate that into this guy over here. These two, as you can see, are in. These are not. So we're going to do UI, R, FI, then U, RI, F. We've got U, and then D, then FI, R, UI, F, RI, and D. And what you can see is all these are fine, and I didn't change any of these guys here. So let's see if I can maintain a perspective with this to try to flip these two. Maybe they're different pieces. Maybe I tried it unsuccessfully. Who knows? But anyway, let's go ahead and flip these two and see what happens. So that's going to be the UI, R, FI, FI, and U, RI, F. So then we do so this is going to see how playable this puzzle is. If I get stuck in the middle of this algorithm, I'm dead. So we've got U, and then D, and then finish it up with FI, R, UI, and then F, RI, and DI. And aha! It worked. Nothing got rotated. Everything is safe. Everything is fine. This corner is in. These are not, so there's no further parities here. So to rotate them all correctly, we have U, R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L. Now that could have gone a lot worse if this puzzle was not nearly as playable as it is. Because if I got lost in that algorithm because I was struggling to turn it, that could have been bad. Let's do it again. U, R, UI, LI,
What's for dinner, Mom?
U, RI, UI,
Good chicken? Yeah.
L. Let's move this down here. Doesn't want to move. There it is. Okay, so everything is in the right place. And now we have these two that need to be rotated correctly. Now I could go through these corner solves and it's really sort of the same kind of thing. But basically what we have left is RI, DI, R, D, RI, DI, R, D. One more set should do it. RI, DI, R, D, RI. Let's see if we can do this. DI, R, D. Lest we get all mixed up, we have to bring our next one here. And once again, RI, DI, R, D, and then finally I think RI, DI, DI, R, D, and we do our final turn to bring this where it needs to be, and done! So there it is, the persistence of mastery. Braden's brilliantly designed and very, very fun and playable puzzle, and actually having solved it, you can see how really well it scrambles. And the temptation is, as soon as I finish a brilliant puzzle like this, is to scramble it again, try different variations, do a parity-free solve, a layer-by-layer solve, an AI solve, what have you. The fact of the matter is a puzzle like this is a gift that keeps on giving. Whether you're doing it by way of reduction, as there's not as much tedium as you will get with the giant puzzles, with this, like a 6x6 or a 7x7, or doing variations, this is a puzzle that you can literally enjoy for days, for weeks and weeks, months and months, even years and years, by having different methods of solving this. A 4x4 to 2x2 parity-free reduction versus a 3x3 with parity reduction versus a layer-by-layer. So there's plenty of use that I'm going to get out of a puzzle like this. So to Braden, I say thanks so much for the opportunity to use such a work of art, brilliantly designed, really needs to be mass-produced so that other people can enjoy this puzzle as well, and I'm happy to assist with that in any way. Aside from that, there's always a joy to potentially being the first to have gone through a solve of a puzzle like this. So, thanks for watching.